Welcome to Rowanknitter.com. Patrick, George, and myself, Damon Beyer, about 3 months ago created this website for people who wanted to knit and collect original, wonderful yarn from Rowan, Annabelle Fox, and Alice Starmore, and be able to create garments that are timeless, made in the original colors that the designers specified when they created these wonderful patterns a long time ago. One of the questions we get very often is about Intarsia knitting, one of the two primary techniques for doing color work. If you've seen some of the work that I've done, like this tumbling block sweater, you'll know I'm a big fan of Intarsia. Intarsia is where you have multiple colors on any given row. Kay Facet does a lot of it, Alice Starmore has done quite a bit of it, and Annabelle Fox did quite a bit of it as well. The trick with Intarsia is to do a couple of things, and I want to show you some of my tips and tricks in knitting Intarsia in this little vignette. The first is to, first of all, if you're not that familiar with the technique, pick a fairly geometric pattern. This is a great one. This is from Rowan book number 4. It's tumbling blocks. It's very, very easy to remember because the pattern is very geometric and the colors just shift one stitch every row. So once you get it memorized, you don't have to be a slave to the chart. What I'm working on right now is actually a sleeve from Rowan book number 11, also a Kay Facet pattern. This is book number 11, a design called Red Sails. It's one of Kay's classic cotton sweaters. It's another great one for a beginning Intarsia knitter because, as you can see, it's very, very geometric and the pattern changes regularly. So the first time you try Intarsia, try something fairly straightforward and geometric. Now, if you read an old instruction book about Intarsia, the first thing they'll tell you to do is wind all your yarn on bobbins. If you have bobbins, my strong suggestion is throw them away or sell them on eBay because they're going to do nothing but tangle the yarns and get to a mess. When Cave himself knits Intarsia, he takes a yard, 2 yards worth of yarn and just hangs with loose strings hanging down from the back of the work. So if anything gets in a tangled mess, you just pull it out, the yarn that you need out, and you're off knitting again. I personally choose to use little mini hanks that you wind. So for example, if you've got a shade like this lovely discontinued color of hand knit DK cotton, you take again a 5 to 6 foot length, you wind it around your fingers like this into a little hank, and then you tie it just a couple of times loosely, and you've created this lovely little skein that can hang from the back of your knitting, pulls out quite easily, and doesn't tangle very well. It doesn't tangle hardly at all. So that can keep the yarn in control. The real trick to Intarsia as well is once you get going, as you'll see, and you're knitting along to the color change, when you get to the change in the color, sometimes knitters wonder how to keep a hole from occurring in the work. With Fair Isle, it's fairly straightforward because you've got both of the yarns going in the pattern. So I'm getting ready to change from the 2 colors of cable mercerized cotton to the cerise shade of cable mercerized cotton. And the real trick is when you're changing colors, make sure that you take the old yarn, put it on top, and pull the new yarn up from the bottom. If you do that, I promise you, you won't have a hole in the work. And then just keep knitting as usual. I also have another little trick. I knit 2 stitches out of the new yarn, and then I take the ends of both of them and tug on them a bit, and it makes the tension very, very easy. Only 3 stitches needed of that one. I'm going to switch to that lovely shade of hand knit DK cotton in port wine, and I'm off again. Couple of stitches in that, tug the ends, and the tension is just fine. So those are a couple of my tricks for Intarsia knitting. Hopefully you'll try it. We have lots of Intarsia kits on Rowanknitter.com, including, by the way, Red Sails. Till next time, Patrick and I hope you happy knitting.